Hello folks, welcome back to my channel. This is the World of TV Shows, and today I have another episode review for you of Bones, and this time we'll be looking at the 8th episode of the first season called The Girl in the Fridge. The episode originally aired on November 29, 2005 on Fox. It was directed by Sanford Bookstaver, and it was written by Kathy Reiches as well as Dana Cohen, and last but not least, Elizabeth Benjamin. So what is this episode about? What's going on? What's the plot? So, the title of the episode seems pretty, self-explanatory, which I like about the episode titles. I think it's pretty good, to have this in or on kind of thing in the title in every single episode. But in this episode, basically, as the title suggests, a skeleton, a body is going to be found inside of a fridge, right? And, this is going to obviously, this is going to start up an investigation, as usual, sorry. Brennan is going to be, looking at the remains and trying to come up with, cause of death and things of that nature, anything to identify the victim. Whereas, Booth is going to, who's working with her, who's with the FBI, is going to, work on the criminal aspect of things, right? I'm sorry, I know I'm not really good with words today, but I'm trying my level best, so please bear with me. So basically, they're going to be, working on this case, and it's going to turn out that, this episode has a very dark plot. So I'm not going to spoil it too much or anything, but it appears that this woman was handcuffed, and, that basically, something bad happened, and some people might have been involved and these people are, closer to home than one might think. So this is the extent of what I can say without spoiling too much or anything. But yeah, eventually this case is gonna lead, everybody to court, right? Where there's gonna be a sort of court case, like you see in Law and Order and TV shows of this, that vibe. Like for instance, Medium. Also, there's a lot of court in it. So yeah, basically they're gonna be asked to go and testify in court. So Brennan is gonna go there and let the jury in on her findings and so on and so forth. She's gonna try to speak a language they understand, which is not very easy for her since she uses these very technical terms. But the big thing of this episode, which I didn't mention, and I'm going to do it now, is that Brennan's old professor is going to be visiting, and the two of them are going to reconnect. But then, it turns out that he might have ulterior motives for coming back. And yeah, I'm going to leave you at that so that I don't spoil too much or anything. But, it seems that, there might be somewhat of a, there's going to be some tension between him and Brennan, especially given, what he's doing, as a matter of fact, and how it could, jeopardize, something that Brennan is working on. That's pretty much how I'm going to leave it at that, as I said, so that I don't spoil too much or anything. So yeah, there's going to be, let's just say that, the term conflict of interest comes to mind or something like that, it turns out that the two of them are going to be kind of at odds at some point because of, the work, the nature of the work. But this is more or less what it is about. So what did I think about this episode, The Girl in the Fridge? I thought that this episode was pretty good, especially with the whole court case. That's not something you get to see often in the show. Up until now, usually it's lab work, FBI field work, but, having them at court is not something that is, that that regular, that big thing in the show. But I thought that this introduced the concept of, court and trial pretty well. And I have to say that it was really good at some point hearing Brennan, speak and kind of open up about herself. And, she even has tears in her eyes at some point, if I'm not mistaken. So you can really feel for her. She says something about, she's going to get a little personal. But yeah, it's a pretty good episode. I really enjoyed it. So let's move on to the actors, perhaps, so that I can comment a little bit on them. But this episode, yeah, really enjoyed the whole vibe, the whole atmosphere. So we have Emily Deschanel, David Boreanaz, Michael O'Conlan, Eric Milligan, T.J. Thine, Jonathan Adams. Those are the main actors, all right? Then we have Josh Hopkins, who plays Michael Stiers, who is the man you see there on the left, who is shaking Booth's hand. He's basically Brennan's, Brennan's old professor, ex-professor, and yeah, this is that's who he is. And I didn't mention it, but yeah, Josh Hopkins was in Cold Case. He played in a few episodes. He was awesome in the show. I really enjoyed his performance. I'm pretty sure he was in other TV shows, maybe Without a Trace, but I'm not sure. But he was definitely on Cold Case, and he was awesome in the show. I really enjoyed it. And to have him here on Bones in 2005 was pretty good. Then we have Matt Ross, who plays Neil Meredith, who is, I'm not, I don't recall too much or anything. Is he a bad guy? I'm pretty sure he was one of the bad guys. Then we have Alicia Coppola, who plays Joy Deaver. Again, Alicia Coppola, she's a pretty good actress. She's a little bit of, she plays kind of a mean character in this episode. She's pretty nasty to Brennan at some point. She's just, flying off the handle. She's telling her things that are not nice. But yeah, Alicia Coppola was on NCIS on a few episodes. She guest starred on an episode of Medium. She was in The Dead Zone, in an episode of The Dead Zone. She's a pretty good actress, and it was pretty good seeing her here. Alicia Coppola, I don't know if she's related to Francis Ford Coppola or not. It's the same last name, perhaps, but I didn't check it out. But yeah, she's a pretty good actress. Then we have Leonard Roberts, who plays AUSA Andrew Levitt. Basically he and Joy are kind of on Brandon's side, but not really. But, they're kind of mean too about it. But yeah, basically they're working, for the, it's not the defense, it's the other side. What is it called again? It's the prosecution or something like this. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, Leonard Roberts, he was pretty good. I'm pretty sure he was on Buffy the Vampire Slayer a few episodes at least. His face looks very familiar. Then we have Rachel Miner, who plays Murray Costello. Rachel Miner was pretty good in this episode, and she's a pretty good actress. She was in other TV shows as well. And yeah, it was really good seeing her here, in this. She wasn't a very nice character, but I'll let you find out for yourselves why. But she did pretty well in any way. Then we have Ross McCall, who plays Scott Castillo. Oh yes, Scott Castillo is, he's another one of the bad guys, I'm pretty sure. So Matt Ross, who plays Neil Meredith, he wasn't a bad guy at all. I don't, Neil Meredith, yeah, I'm so sorry. I just can't place him, but I'm pretty sure he was a good guy. I apologize. I confused. I got, kind of sidetracked, I confused him with Scott Castillo. Two different characters. I apologize for that. But I'm pretty sure he was awesome. Then we have Kate McNeil, who plays Audrey Schilling. Lou Richards plays Dr. Berrigan. Keith Sellen-Wright plays Brian Schilling. Patty Begley plays lab staffer. Joe Davis plays security guard. John Jurgens plays courthouse passerby. So yeah, they were all awesome. My favorite ones definitely being Josh Hopkins, as well as Alicia Coppola, Leonard Roberts, as well as Rachel Miner. Those are my favorite guest starring actors and actresses of this episode. And yeah, Matt Ross, let me try and remember. Where did I see him? He was he in Court, or yeah, Neil Meredith, or maybe he was Let me check. Maybe he was the father. I'm very not sure because I have to say that maybe if I check it out somewhere here, I'll recall. But yeah, in any case, it was pretty good. It was pretty good for what it was. So I really enjoyed this episode. It had, like I said, it had a good progression. It had a nice kind of resolution. And yes, oh, let me check. Oh, he's the lawyer. Oh, yes, he's the lawyer. That's right. Oh, I remember him now. He's the lawyer of some guilty party. Oh, yeah, I didn't like him very much. He's not really a good guy now, was he? He wasn't really a good guy. So, yeah, I really enjoyed the progression and everything. And up until the very end of that court kind of case, I really enjoyed it. It was pretty good. And also, at the very end of the episode, I kind of liked it when I believe that there's a beautiful scene where we get to see, is that the National Mall? Let me check it out. I'm pretty sure it is in DC. And I thought that this was just beautiful, a beautiful way to, yeah, it was the National Mall. And you basically have Booth and Brennan kind of there, and there's a skeleton. It's next to, it's about the final scene in the episode, but it's so beautiful. The view is breathtaking, so awesome. I loved how they ended up this episode with Booth and Brennan back on the saddle. So really enjoyed this episode. So if I were to rate this episode on a scale from 1 to 10, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It was pretty good for what it was. I really enjoyed it. And it's kind of disturbing too, the case. I can't go too much into details because I don't want to spoil too much or anything, but it was pretty disturbing, a disturbing case. But it was awesome for what it was. The episode itself was really enjoyable. So 8 out of 10 for me. What about you folks? What did you think about The Girl in the Fridge? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next review. In the meantime, folks, stay safe, goodbye, take care. This is The World of TV Show signing off.